Business owners picking up the pieces this morning after at least one was completely destroyed in a fire. We'll take you live to the scene with what we know so far this morning. And the highly anticipated November jobs report just released about 30 minutes ago. We'll take a look at the numbers this morning. And video capturing the hazy air across the Salt Lake Valley. You'll be seeing more smog, we'll tell you, in the coming days.
Live and streaming, this is KSL News Now.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us on this Tuesday morning, December 16th for KSL News Now. I'm Lori Pritchard. We're going to get to those stories in just a bit. But first, Matt Johnson's going to talk about the forecast this morning. We talked about that haze a little bit. It's gunky.
Yeah, and you know, it's going to stick with us today. But hopefully, tomorrow's little storm system could help to clear things out. Here's a look at your rundown. I've got two small storm systems. One is tomorrow and another one on Saturday. Air quality will improve because of these storm systems, not really because it's going to bring a ton of rain and mountain snow, but more because of the fact that we're going to see some wind from these systems. So air quality should improve, and then I've got no real cold air or shots of cold air headed our way. Now, the overnight lows this morning, or I should say last night into this morning, have cooled off sufficiently. You've got a 36 in Salt Lake, 35 in Logan, 28 in Provo. Central Utah, plenty of 20s from Price to Torrey out towards Cedar City. You've got mid and upper 20s right now. Now, the hourly forecast does reveal mid 30s to start, mostly cloudy to partly cloudy conditions depending on your location. And you head into the afternoon, I think some of us could hit 50s, but Salt Lake City proper will likely stay in the upper 40s as we're kind of trapped in that lower level of the inversion layer. Lori?
Right. Thank you, Matt. We are tracking some breaking news out of Provo this morning. Take a look at this. This is some video that we received from a viewer showing this fire and these businesses in Provo. You see the sparks here. Now, these firefighters, there's police right here. These firefighters are trying to gain entry inside this business right here. Now, we do understand one of those businesses is a total loss after this fire sparked overnight. This happening near 500 West, 800 North. And that's where we find news specialist Brian Carlson. He is live at the scene for us this morning. As firefighters have been working on this for several hours now. Brian, bring us up to speed on exactly what happened, and is that fire out?
Well, that's the question here this morning, Lori, because for the last 7 hours, firefighters have stayed on scene working this fire. In fact, in just the last half hour, you had a second fire truck now pull up here behind me here to add support to the other fire truck, which never left, and then reattached a fire hose. And as we're seeing the sun coming up here this morning, again, very little light here, but you can make out some smoke still coming from the building. So at one point, you had all the firefighters rush onto scene, and then almost everybody left. Now they're all coming back. So here's what it looked like overnight when this fire initially started. You can see flames coming through the roof, not only from our cameras, which were here, but also from the nearby traffic cameras. Firefighters got that call to this fire just after 11:45 last night. They responded here to a printing company called Nova Inc. and a meat company called Ford's Locker, both part of a small strip mall just 1 block south of Utah Valley Hospital. Now, crews initially rushed into the building to start putting out the fire, but it became simply too dangerous for them to stay inside. Then you had people who are part of these businesses started showing up here overnight as well, obviously devastated by seeing this fire take place, but taking solace in the fact that no one was injured.
I'm glad that nothing happened to anybody because there was no people inside, you know, which is what I was hoping when I got here. But material stuff, we can recover, you know.
Obviously, you're kind of taking from what you can there this morning. As for firefighters, they don't know what caused this fire. They do confirm that no one was inside at the time. And what's really interesting is you kind of see the cadence of how firefighters have responded. Again, showing up in large numbers, trying to put the fire out. Then they think they've got it handled, and now you have more trucks responding back here to the scene. You've got another one here just off to my right near the fire hose that they attached to the fire hydrant. So it appears the fire is not out here this morning, but still smoldering just a bit. We'll kind of see if that changes throughout the morning. But the main thing is most of the road is open if you're trying to get through this area on your morning drive here, Lori. Live in Provo, Brian Carlson, KSL 5 News. Back to you.
It's terrible to have a fire, but if you're going to have one, it's good that it's in the middle of the night because no one was inside those buildings. So thankfully, no one was hurt. So that is the good news this morning. Brian, thanks for that update. In other headlines this morning, new developments. A bond request has been granted for the Utah man detained by ICE. The attorney for Jair Celis says an immigration judge found he is not a danger to the community or a flight risk. Celis should be home by tomorrow. He was taken into custody while waiting for his final green card interview. Also, a suspicious death at Sugar House on Sunday morning, prompting an investigation. The victim's family says it is murder, and they want answers. They say 57-year-old Steve Collis was left for dead after someone riddled his RV with bullets. Police won't confirm the details, but family members say a homeless man found Collis lying on the sidewalk just after 3 a.m., around the same time shots were reported in the area. The family says Collis's death was not an accident. They believe people are withholding information.
And we hope that justice is going to come for my uncle because he absolutely deserves it.
These guys know who did it. They're just not willing to say.
Right here shows the RV with markers of what the family believes are shell casings. If you have any information, you're asked to contact Salt Lake City Police. New developments out of Provo this morning, where a driver has been arrested after a man was hit and killed by a pickup truck. Police say 80-year-old Mario Valor of Provo was crossing the road at 920 South 100 West when he was hit just after 6 o'clock last night. He was rushed to the hospital. We're told the area where he was crossing was dark and is seeing a lot more traffic because of a detour.
It was dark at the time and traffic is heavy. This is a very big diversion area with the University Avenue Bridge being redone by UDOT at the moment. So it's a lot of traffic got diverted and heads through both directions.
Provo police telling KSL they identified the driver as 42-year-old Jason Phillips of Pleasant Grove. Phillips was arrested and booked into the Utah County Jail on investigation of driving under the influence and automobile homicide. And we now know the name of the driver killed over the weekend in a crash in Sanpete County involving 2 school buses. Utah Highway Patrol says 43-year-old Melvin Beckstead of Sterling, Utah, was driving a truck on US 89 north of Ephraim when he grazed one school bus headed the opposite direction, then crashed head-on into a second school bus. Those buses were from Wasatch Academy in Mount Pleasant. Officials say 17 students and the driver of that second bus were hurt, while Beckstead was killed. KSL did speak with a woman who lives in Moab who had a 15-year-old daughter that was on the first bus that was hit.
I was just so glad she was okay. I didn't know the extent of the crash until I saw the pictures, and then I kind of panicked. Like, I knew she was okay, but it was the next day that I saw the pictures from the crash, and I don't know, I just had this moment of complete panic. Like, it could have been so much worse.
Wasatch Academy says it plans to adjust its school schedule and offer trauma support services to those who may need it. In Box Elder County, a man has been taken to the hospital in critical condition after a trailer explosion. Manaway police say investigators are still looking into exactly what happened to cause that explosion, but they suspect a faulty propane line within the trailer. Police say witnesses reported that fire. They put it out themselves with a fire extinguisher before the fire department arrived. The man, who is in his 50s, and a dog were both hurt in that blast. The man is expected to survive. The dog is currently at an animal shelter in Sunset. A group of Salt Lake County residents are seeking a referendum on the recently approved 14% property tax increase. They want to put that decision on the ballot. The county council approved that increase nearly a week ago. For homes worth about $330,000, property taxes will rise about $50. Council leaders say that they've had to cut some resources to bring the increase down from a proposed 20%. Still, some residents are arguing the double-digit increase is just too much.
Everything's too expensive, right? Housing, cars, fuel, food. But this is one thing that we can actually control. I can't control how much housing costs, but I can control whether my property taxes go up.
Yeah, the Salt Lake County Clerk's Office telling KSL that it's currently reviewing the proposed referendum to make sure it's legally allowed to go to voters. If approved, organizers will have 45 days to collect 56,000 handwritten signatures to block the increase and get it on the ballot. The City Council releasing a statement on that move within the last hour. This is what they said in part. A referendum that overturns a property tax increase will have serious implications for funding critical county operations, including public safety, our largest statutory obligation. Overturning a county tax increase does not eliminate the underlying county costs for mandated responsibilities. Rather, it simply shifts how and whether the county can meet them. All right, let's get to Matt Johnson on this Tuesday and talk about our forecast. Matt, do we have any snow, perhaps, in the forecast? It is December 16th.
So we do, but it's not in the valley.
All right, okay, take it.
You know, there's something there, right? I wanted to show you the latest readings on our air quality sensors, our exclusive map of air quality sensors across the state. Tremont to Logan to Brigham City, we are in the yellow. Yes, there are some gauges in the green, and that's for mostly the Wasatch back here, Morgan Valley into Ogden Valley. But you get along the Wasatch Front, we have more cars, we have more emissions coming out, and that's getting trapped. So you can see yellow to even some orange showing up here because the air quality has just been deteriorating here in the last 24 to 48 hours as we've capped off the valleys. Utah Valley, I wouldn't believe those reds, but the orange and the yellow, that's probably about on par for what we're seeing in air quality through this southern half of the Wasatch. Having issues with the cloud cover right now, you can see, but obviously it's still there. Plume of moisture working into the west coast. We're probably going to tap into a little bit of that as we head into tomorrow. So here's a look at the wind forecast. By tomorrow afternoon with a cold front, we're going to kick up that wind. That is great news for the inversion because it's likely going to scour out the valley floor. But we're also talking about rain. I'll get to that forecast coming up.
All right, Matt, thank you. Also this morning, we were following the Bondi Beach attack out of Australia. Utah Rabbi Sam Spector says the Jewish community in our state is determined to practice their faith, but they say they're also nervous.
We are a bit on edge. We make sure that we have security at all of our events, and that's been the case for a couple of years now as anti-Semitism has grown.
Rabbi Spector says his congregation has received more threats and hate than ever before. He and other Jewish leaders in Utah are encouraging everyone to celebrate Hanukkah this year to show their support. We've got a link to celebrations on our website, ksltv.com. And this morning, fans are paying respects to a beloved soap opera star. We've learned that Anthony Geary, who played Luke on General Hospital, has died. Geary was a Utah native, born in Colville, and went to the University of Utah to study theater. He won 8 daytime Emmys for his work. His husband says he died Sunday after complications for surgery in the Netherlands. Anthony Geary was 78 years old. Remember Luke and Laura from General Hospital? They were iconic. All right, current and former Utah governors are calling for a higher standard in politics, and they're emphasizing the need for respect. On Monday, 2 former Utah governors and our current governor sitting down to talk about leadership and the obstacles facing our country right now. Governor Cox frequently talks about disagreeing better with people whose perspectives are different than yours. And former Governor Mike Leavitt says bridging divides is the most important power and responsibility a public servant has.
There's the capacity to bring people together to solve problems, to identify problems, to have the stature that you could actually bring people together to solve problems.
Former Governor Gary Herbert also attended and said Republicans and Democrats need to hold their elected officials to a higher standard. UDOT rolling out smart technology to catch tire problems on trucks before they cause crashes.
So the dangers of tire failures can be anything from a minor inconvenience to something that can be deadly. Every time you drive down the road and you see one of those road gators on the side of the road, the question is, could that have been caught before the tire failed?
Utah officials have started using an in-road tire anomaly detector at several ports of entry. Sensors and AI scan each tire as trucks drive over and flag any issues. If the system does detect a problem, inspectors perform a hands-on check. The system is currently active at 6 ports, and UDOT says it plans to expand the system to all 8. A new grant will help with waste management in Davis County. The EPA announced on Monday that it's giving the Wasatch Integrated Waste Management District in Utah $3.4 million. The agency says that money will go towards the expansion of a compost facility, fund curbside organic collection, and implement new education. U.S. Representative Blake Moore says he's looking forward to seeing the positive impact this will have throughout Davis County. Former BYU football stars are joining a University of Utah study on infrared light therapy to see how it can help heal the brain after contact sports. Tom Holmoe and Jim Harriman both have histories of football-related injuries. The therapy has shown promising results in previous studies with BYU players, including improved brain scans and cognitive health. The research has already introduced more than 100 athletes across multiple seasons, showing promising results. Both Homo and Harriman will publicize the findings when the study wraps up sometime next year. Let's take a look at this. Utahns aren't seeing very much snow just yet, but we are seeing this. You can see it in the air, smog. Chopper 5 capturing the hazy air across the Salt Lake Valley. It is going to be a similar story today. And you were just talking, Matt Johnson, about the KSL Air Quality Network, and it really is helpful because it gives you a view of your air quality wherever you live, just right in your neighborhood.
Yep. Right there on the KSL weather app, down in the bottom right-hand corner. Just hit more, and then there's an air quality option, and that'll take you to the map. Let me show you what's going on out there. This is last night, another beautiful sunset. You got the Jordan River, you got the golf course there in Lehigh, and of course, some color popping up in our skies. Jeff Scott with the credit there. Live look over the Salt Lake Valley, another beautiful sunrise. We've had an expansive stretch of time where the sunrises and sunsets have just been magnificent over the last 20 days or so. Okay, high pressure's off that Pacific coast, and we're bringing in the moisture. I got showers for Northern California. Eventually, some of those will try to work into the state. Today, that's not happening. I got high clouds, northern Utah, but central and southern Utah, you're going to stay in the clear with plenty of sunshine. Tomorrow, the hope is that we can clear out the gunk. You got valley rain showers and mountain snow showers. This is as early as 8 a.m. It's just a quick pulse of energy, and then we have to wait for the cold front in the afternoon. 2, 3 o'clock, valley rain showers, mountain snow. We'll see some wind with it as well. That'll help to lift out the inversion as well. Thursday, 5 o'clock, valley rain shower, mountain snow showers. Doesn't look like anything too heavy. I'm calling it mostly cloudy in the valleys with more sunshine in southern Utah. The first cold front that we'll see, this is Wednesday. How much with it? Pacing to Salt Lake, just a couple of hundreds. Now, north of Salt Lake, 1/10 to a quarter is looking likely. Maybe even Morgan Valley picking up 1/3 of an inch of rain. No snow with that. Snow levels up around 8,000 feet with this thing. You got highs in the 50s today, central Utah. Plenty of sunshine. We'll do the same for southern Utah. Hanksville, you got a nice one at 53 degrees. To the north, there's going to be more cloud cover the further north you go into the Idaho border. But across the Wasatch, calling it partly to mostly cloudy skies, because not all day long will be gloomy, overcast skies. I think we'll still see some peaks of sunshine. So 63 goes to 65. We'll hold that for 3 days in a row. Wasatch, or Washington County, I should say, is on speed dial for 60s. You got 49 to 54. Breezy, showers possible Wednesday, not big. More showers possible on Saturday with highs in the 50s.
Thank you. We do have some breaking news just into our newsroom this morning. The Labor Department just releasing the highly anticipated October and November jobs reports. Payrolls rose by 64,000 in the month of November, but only after they dropped by 105,000 for the month of October. So that was a net loss of 41,000 jobs over the last 2 months. The unemployment rate also rose to 4.6%, which was also more than expected. This is our first key look at this economic data after it was delayed due to the government shutdown. The FDA has sent out a warning to multiple major retailers, including Walmart and Target, for not removing recalled baby formula from store shelves. In early November, the FDA recalled ByHeart baby formula because of a large outbreak of infant botulism. The agency says it reached out repeatedly to Walmart, Target, Kroger, and Albertsons to remove the product, but hasn't gotten any response from those companies. As of December 10th, 51 children from 19 states have either suspected or confirmed cases of infant botulism after exposure to this product. All 51 children have been hospitalized. No deaths have been reported. Medical technology company Stryker is expanding its Salt Lake City operations. The company says that expansion will bring 862 new jobs and over $615 million in investment in Utah over the next 20 years. The expansion was driven by Utah Governor's Office of Economic Opportunity, which gave Stryker a post-performance tax reduction. Stryker's Salt Lake City location is already home to advanced manufacturing, a surgeon training center, bioskills lab, and more. Ford says it is scaling back its electric vehicle production. The automaker says it will pause the manufacture of F-150 Lightning, its flag electric vehicle. The change means a financial hit of nearly $20 billion, but Ford says that loss will be offset by strong quarterly sales of its traditional gasoline-powered trucks and SUVs. Ford says the next generation F-150 will have a 700-mile range, improved towing capacity as well. The company did not say when production of this new model would begin. And today, the last vehicle will roll off the assembly line at Volkswagen's plant in Dresden, Germany. This marks the very first time in Volkswagen's 88-year history that it has closed a plant in its home country. Volkswagen warned of potential production cuts last year as the company faced slowing demand and heightened U.S. tariffs. All right, let's get back to Matt Johnson. Matt, you were promising some rain showers, maybe some snow in the mountains.
Yes, we are. We're going to be seeing that as early as tomorrow. For today, we got more haze, some high clouds to start, and that's going to kind of be the story today. Partly to mostly cloudy skies. Air quality right now in the yellow to orange. Your AQI index is 59 to 113. So depending on where you're at, and unfortunately that haze, we're breathing it in. Got a 49 today, partly cloudy. Tomorrow, 55, breezy, chance for showers. The hope is that this cold front can help scour out the valley floor. That's what it's looking like in model runs. Now, reality, that's still 24 hours out, right? We need that to pan out tomorrow. Thursday, I've got a 49 with partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies, maybe even a sprinkle. So, the silver lining here is that I think tomorrow should help with the inversion.
That is good news. We're hoping for that.
Whoa,
all right.
Such an angel.
Do you hear that? Take a look. Santa Claus took some time out of his very busy schedule right now to stop by the NICU at Ogden Regional Medical Center. St. Nick bringing some magic with him. After his visit, one couple learning they would finally get to take their newborn home. A Team USA speed skater says she is looking for redemption at the upcoming Winter Olympic Games. The USA speed skating short track team was announced this weekend at a BYU basketball game. Kristen St. Griswold, who is 31 years old, is the oldest on the team. And during the 2022 games in Beijing, St. Griswold and a competitor collided, causing them to crash while heading into the very final lap. While that skater was disqualified, St. Griswold lost a podium spot, and she said she wasn't sure if she'd be able to make a comeback in the sport.
I was supposed to medal. I ate right, I trained right, I slept right. I did everything I was supposed to do, and it didn't happen. So I had to take a little bit of time to really decide if I could handle that again.
Well, after 4 years, she says she feels fast, strong, and she's ready to go for it. So we wish her luck in those upcoming Winter Olympic Games. Thanks so much for joining us this morning on KSL News Now this Tuesday, December 16th. We'll leave you with a live look to downtown Salt Lake City. And don't forget, you can download our KSL Weather app where you can find air quality down in your neighborhood. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great day, everyone.